Hello, CrossFit Linchpin. Get my computer screen right here before I start talking. So, this is continuing video series that we did the other day where I think last week I posted to our Instagram story one of those polls that you can take, like, hey, submit a question. What do you want to know about? What do you want to talk about? And all that stuff. And so I got a bunch of topics, a bunch of discussion points, wrote them all down, and I'm little by little trying to make my way through all the topics and questions that were on everybody out there's mind. So here we go. So we're going to cover a few today: accessory work and a weight vest specifically. And there was another question which was amazing, which basically said, what is the best ice cream flavor? And we could talk about that for a long time. Now I'm thinking about ice cream, anything with peanut butter in it, some sort of toffee, something that has a little crunch. Maybe there's some M&Ms in there. Peanut butter cups, brownies. Oh, fantastic. Anyway, ice cream's amazing. So accessory work and weight vests that we'll chat about today. And if people have questions, Tim Chan, what's up, brother? People have questions, throw them out there, and I will do my best to make some sort of an effort to get to them, depending upon how long the video goes. So first of all, accessory work. It's interesting. There's a duality out there, right? I'm very vocal, both personally and for CrossFit Linchpin, about saying 1 hour a day, one workout a day. That is all the overwhelming majority of the population needs, not just to be fit or kind of fit, but to be extraordinarily fit and amazingly capable at anything you're going to encounter in life. You're going to be fine for it. So, and I believe that's true. And we don't, and if you're doing a heavy day, just do a heavy day. Don't do a heavy day and then try to sneak something else in there in the hour. You probably didn't do the heavy day properly. Just do that. Then feed your body, rest, and go home. Okay. In general, I'm not talking about competitors here. Okay. Competitors are an entirely different type of psychopath that we're not addressing here. Their needs are not normal, and what they do is not normal. So that's off the table. And when I say a regular person, like the one workout a day, 1 hour a day, will get you fit for anything that you can want to do, I'm going to say that, Matt Chan, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. It's been too long. Now I'm going to get distracted and want to talk to Matt Chan. But this is just regular folks. This is not competitors. Regular folks. One workout a day, 1 hour a day. When I say regular people, that you'll be wonderfully fit. When I say regular people, I mean anything from you're a regular citizen in society, just a mom or a dad of a couple kids, and you go to work from 9 to 5, and then you come home and you play soccer with them on the weekend, you go hiking, you ride your bikes, maybe you need to build a fence in the backyard. From that level of normal person to even people with demanding jobs. If you're a police officer, a firefighter, a first responder, somebody that has, you're a construction worker. I mean, you have a physically demanding job. Probably don't feel like working out if you're a construction worker, but you don't need anything more than one workout a day either. That's falling under the lump of normal people as well. This may strike people as crazy, but you can trust me on this. Even though they're not normal people, I'm going to say special operations forces. I spent a good deal of my life as a Navy SEAL, and I'm here to tell you, as shocking as it may be, okay, I'm going to turn 44 here in less than a week. At 44 years old, working out one workout a day, 1 hour a day, I am equally capable, if not more capable, than the physical capacity that I had 22 years ago when I was 22 years old, active duty as a SEAL, working out 3 hours a day. Probably sounds hard to believe. I'm not lying. Now, a lot of that job also comes down to what you have going on between the ears and being able to deal with certain things. But the actual physical capacity of what can I run, what can I lift, how many pull-ups I can do, if you put a rucksack on my back, how far could I go, down man drills, buddy drags, it's all here. It's actually better than it was back then, and I work out 1/3 of the time. So point being, 1 hour a day, one workout a day. If you need more than that, I just don't know what you're doing with your life. Again, you're probably a competitor, and competitors do need more than that, and they are facing demands that far exceed what life is just going to throw at you. They're intentionally putting themselves in that situation. They have a different set of demands. And the only thing I would probably need, I'm not in as good swimming shape anymore. That's fair. I used to swim a lot more. I don't really swim that much anymore. So back then I could swim. I'd have to get in the pool a little bit more. But anyway, 1 workout a day, 1 hour a day, you're good to go. So if I truly believe that, and I say that all the time, then why the heck do I program accessory work every day on the private track? That almost seems like a bit of hypocrisy. If 1 workout a day is all you need, why does the accessory work even exist? So it was a great question, so I figured I'd answer it here. And I'm very vocal about this on the daily videos on the private track, that the accessory work is optional. It should always be viewed as optional. I've now, been around CrossFit and literally had exposure to thousands, if not tens of thousands of people, and the overwhelming majority of them are happy, healthy, strong, confident, and never do any accessory work whatsoever. So you can't, the data is just overwhelming, and you don't need to do it to be fit. But there is a difference between need and want. And we live in a wonderful world. We have incredible freedoms, and you're allowed to choose to do things, not necessarily because you need to, but because you want to. And so the accessory work is there for athletes that choose to do it, want to do it, and if you choose to do the accessory work, it should be additive to your experience. Now that may seem very rudimentary and obvious, but it needs to be said. The accessory work that we post every day, it may only be a couple of things that look very innocent on paper, but they're brutally effective and potent and devastating, when done appropriately. So if you're exposing yourself to that accessory work and it is a bit too much for you because maybe you're not used to it, that it leaves you're tired and you're extra sore and you're not recovering as fast, well, that's not good. It's not always that more is better. Then that's going to just have you go into the gym the next day or two dragging butt, not feeling fired up, and then you're not going to be able to bring the appropriate amount of intensity to the workout of the day because you're so tired from the accessory work, and that's counterproductive. That's not what you want to do. Again, that's why the accessory work, it should be additive. If you're a veteran athlete, you're ready, you're capable, and you want just a little bit more to maybe punch you over some plateau or shore up some weaknesses or whatnot, then that's what the accessory work is beautiful for. It's intelligently programmed, it fits in the broad scope of what we're doing, and it will help you achieve that if you're ready for it. If you're not, dip your toe in the water gently. Some people have that mentality that if it's written down, I have to do it. And I would be cautious with that, because if you're not ready for it, again, it won't propel you forward. It'll just make you too tired, and then you can't bring intensity, and intensity is an oversimplification, shortcut to the good stuff and results, and so now you're moving backwards. So if you do want to try the accessory work, you can scale that too. Scale the number of rounds, or scale the repetitions, or scale the loading, and just do a crawl, walk, run approach with that, and just see how it treats your body over the course of 2 or 3 weeks. See how you're feeling when you sleep, how do you feel when you wake up, how do you feel when you walk into the gym, and then little by little build up that capacity. But the overall point is that you don't need to do it to just live a wonderfully happy, healthy, fit life here on planet Earth. It's just there. There are segments of the society that no matter what are going to do a little something extra. They just want to. Again, don't need, but they want to. And so if those people are going to do it anyway, then the intention is to provide them with something that is appropriate, makes sense in the scope of what we did that day, what we did last week, and what we're going to do in the upcoming week. And it can be a great way if somebody has maybe been doing CrossFit 5, 7, 9 years and something has stalled, the deadlift has stalled, the back squat has stalled, something has stalled. Well, suddenly, if you've never had exposure to single leg, stiff-legged deadlifts with a dumbbell, or Bulgarian split squats, or barbell glute bridges, or, you name it, adding some of those to the program might help get that athlete that has been, just hitting it every day for 7 to 9 years, a little bump and a little something different, because variance is a wonderful thing, and then hit their body in a different way and push them over that. So that's what it's for. If you want to do it, enjoy it, have fun, but don't think just because it says accessory work that it's this cutesy little thing on the side. It's a good dose. Let me make sure that I haven't missed anything before I touch on the weight vest thing, because I'm just so bad. I get down these rabbit holes and I don't pay attention to anything. Okay, I don't think I've missed any questions. Okay, all right, here we go. So the weight vest. The question was, which came on Instagram, it just said, what about a weight vest, training with a weight vest? So that's a very broad brush question. I am going to do my best to answer it with kindness, because there's a couple ways it can go in there. My initial thought, and I could be wrong on this, is I think a decent segment of the working out population associates the word harder or tougher with better and more effective, and that's not the case. So for example, if Fran at 95 pounds is tough, well then Fran at 115 is tougher, so that must be a better workout. It's not really that simple or how it works or whatnot. So I think you can fall into that trap with the weight vest. Like, hey, if a workout is tough, and tough means good, and tough gets results, which again, that's really an oversimplification and not quite accurate, then if I throw a weight vest on, I'm making the workout tougher, which means I'm making it better, which means I'm going to get fitter faster. And that is largely not the case. So, again, sorry that this is an Instagram video and not a 2-3 hour live lecture where we can have a wonderful conversation back and forth. So I am oversimplifying and making some things more concise than they need to be just to get a general point across. But there's a lot more nuance involved in a lot of this stuff. Just as if most of the time it wouldn't make sense to make Fran 135 instead of 95, because even though it's more loading, it's just for most athletes going to slow you down, which, again, if you believe the CrossFit methodology, which if you're following this, you probably do, that long line that we would give at the level 1 seminars, that intensity is the independent variable most commonly associated with maximizing the rate of return of favorable adaptation, meaning if the athlete can express intensity, the favorable adaptation that you want is fitness, increased work capacity, and allowing the athlete to express intensity will achieve those results in general more efficiently, better. Well, then loading down the athlete, if you did that every day, all you're doing is crushing their intensity, so you're prolonging their fitness and you're delaying their results, and that's not what we want to do. So to a degree, the weight vest could be lumped into there as well. And where I'll see it every now and then is, let's say we program 6 400-meter repeats for the workout of the day. That's a short time domain, high intensity through the roof effort. It's a fantastic day. And then somebody will say, hey, I did the workout today and I put on a 20-pound vest. That's cool, don't get me wrong. You're still out, you're doing functional movements, you're taxing your body, good things are happening for sure. But in something like that, in a sprint day, most of the time, well, all you did by putting that weight vest on your body is you slowed down. You added resistance to it, and you didn't fully get out of that particular day what you should. So adding more weight doesn't always make it better. Throwing on a weight vest doesn't always make it better. Now that being said, like I said, things are nuanced. This isn't just a clear black and white deal. Is there benefit to throwing on that weight vest and sprinting? For sure. Especially, like I said, in my old previous profession, we'd have on body armor, kit, rifles, like you're weighed down with this gear, and you want to know what it feels like to move and to work out and to sweat and to have that gear on your body, and what your maximal speed is with that gear, and how long does it take you to recover between efforts, because that's what you're going to need to actually operate in the real world. So if you're a police officer, a firefighter, somebody that has that kind of kit on their body, there's absolutely benefit to training like that every now and then, feeling it and experiencing it, so when it happens in the real world under duress, you don't want that to be the first time that you're experiencing and you're panic breathing because you can't breathe under your body armor. You've never felt that before. You have a gas mask on and you're going, crazy in the gas mask, hyperventilating. You want to have experienced that in a controlled training environment before it happens in the real world. But if you train with all your kit on every single day, you're just delaying your fitness. So that's the fine line there. I would like to do it every now and then, but the overwhelming majority of the time I wouldn't train with my kit on, or I wouldn't train with the weight vest on, because not having the weight vest on or the gas mask on or the whatever most of the time is going to allow me to get fitter faster, and then every now and then I would put that vest on or put that kit on to give that athlete exposure to that stimulus and just what it feels like, and there is benefit to that. So again, and all of this also gets into the deal with both programming and coaching being part science but also part art, and it's different for each athlete and so on and so forth. So I hope that helps. I hope that was beneficial. Let's see. Do you try to have at least one core move every week? You're talking about the accessory work. Oh yeah, I mean, for the accessory work, I would say, let's say, we work out 5 times a week, we've got 2 off days. I would say there's midline work, and there are 3 of those 5 days would be my guess. And I think the midline work is one of the best things to do with the accessory work. I think everybody would benefit from a more robust midline. It's going to make every functional movement that you do better. And getting back to the weight vest, when that day does come that you throw on kit, that you throw on gear, you're going to be happy that you did the midline work. It's all going to pay off. So anyway, that's that. Let's see. Have you ever considered programming an optional strength component? Great question. Short answer, no. And that's because I don't think most people need it, quite frankly. And I think most people, and this, I'm not saying that this is you, Thomas, this might not be you. But, well, first of all, you're going to get a decent amount of that in the accessory work. If you're doing some of the movements that I mentioned a second ago, from clean pulls and Bulgarian split squats, and you name, like, all that's going to improve your lifting for sure. However, and again, I'm not saying that this is you, Thomas, I think there is a misconception that a lot of people think that, hey, I need to do some extra strength training, that I'm not the athlete that I want to be, and it's because my strength numbers aren't where they need to be. So it has been my experience that if I took some athletes, and again, oversimplification, but we had 3 general areas, right? Strength, moving external objects, weightlifting, your engine, your metabolic conditioning, and then body weight and gymnastics. And we took an athlete, and this athlete that, again, not you, Thomas, potentially thinks that what's holding them back is their strength, and we had them do an honest assessment. We checked out their squat, their deadlift, their shoulder press, and they're like, yeah, see, and my squat snatch, I'm not happy with these numbers. And then we had them do, okay, well, let's move into some body weight. How many strict pull-ups do you have? Strict dead hang pull-ups? How many strict handstand push-ups do you have? How close are you to a beautiful and flawless 2-minute L-sit? I think most athletes, after they supposedly identified a deficiency in strength, would very quickly also identify a deficiency in body weight movements. Okay, so we're going to add an optional strength program, right? And now we're going to also add an optional body weight improvement program, because we probably find that there. Well, then we're going to take them out and we're going to do a 1-minute max effort test on the assault bike, a 3-minute max effort test, and a 10-minute max effort test, and then we're going to run a 10K, and then we're going to run a 5K, and then we're going to run an 800, and then we're going to run a 400. And we would probably find somewhere under that test of the engine that there are some serious deficiencies in the athlete. Okay, so I guess we were going to add an optional strength component because we thought there was a deficiency there. Then we tested the gymnastics components. There's probably a deficiency there, so we need to add an optional gymnastics improvement program. And then once we tested the engine, as it turns out, I guess we need optional engine work as well. Well, if you need everything, and everything needs to get better, you just need good, intelligently well-designed, all-encompassing programming. Constantly varied function moves at high intensity that will, at all times, raise all of those things together. And it has been my experience for not everybody, but the overwhelming majority of the population benefits and has tremendous improvement in doing just that. Everybody needs to get better at everything, but a lot of people just think they need to get better at strength and think that the strength is going to be the elixir that solves the other areas as well, and that hasn't been what I've seen. So in general, that's why I don't program just a dedicated other strength portion, because CrossFit Linchpin or any well-designed program, it's not just a conditioning program, it's a strength and conditioning program. And when you don't cherry pick and you walk in there every day and you give the relatively high amount of intensity that you can and allow yourself to recover, strength improves, body weight movements improve, conditioning improves, aka fitness improves, and that's what we want. And I also think a lot of people, unfortunately, are watching their heroes at the games, which is great, and I enjoy watching them as well, and they do a lot of extra stuff and this and that, and they're so strong, and there's a lot of folks that just need to work in their fitness and are now just unnecessarily lifting too heavy too frequently, thinking that that's going to help them out. And I don't think that their shoulders, their low back, their knees, and their hips are going to be very happy about that decision when you fast forward the clock 10 or 15 years. That's that. Let's see. All right, well, we could probably stay here for a very long Tom, I'm glad you enjoyed it. My pleasure. All I can do is just try to help people out and provide honest, real, no ego involved talk about what I've learned, what I've seen, what I've experienced, what I've heard from other folks, and hopefully people benefit from it. So that's it. We'll keep doing these because there's a lot more topics that we have to get into, and I know there's questions that I didn't get into as well, but this has already gone longer than I thought it would. So have a wonderful day, and we will talk again.